back. It's Maxine, your spiritual astrologer, teaching you how to learn astrology in a more empowering and soul-centered way. And today I'm going to share all about AstroCartoGraphy. And by the end of this, you'll actually know how to get your chart, know what you're looking at, and learn planetary line by planetary line how to read your AstroCartoGraphy chart or map of the world. So if you're unfamiliar, AstroCartoGraphy is the astrology of place. It actually is the astrology that I'll use in readings to help people understand where are your best places to travel, but also why are you drawn to certain places? Or why did you move homes, or where might you want to move homes to? Maybe for more support in career or your love life, or different attributes which we'll get to. But by the end of this, you'll know how to do this for yourself. And to back it up here, if you don't know what an astrocartography map is, it is this map of the world, imagine, or I'll put an image here if you're on YouTube, but it's a world map that has all of these lines running through it, and each of those lines corresponds to a different planet. And of course, that planetary energy is available to you there. So your astrocartography map will be personal, unique to you. It never changes like your birth chart, but it actually looks like a map of the world. And when you travel to Paris, when you travel to Tokyo, there's a line near that. The closest line is the one you want to look to. And when you go there, you're essentially unlocking that planetary energy, that potential, those strengths, those shadows, the gifts with that planet that it has to share with you. So let's get into it. This is how to read your astrocartography chart. So the first thing you need is your actual chart. So how to get your astrocartography chart is quite simple. I mean, there are so many websites and softwares that you can use, but what I'll recommend here to get your astrocartography chart for free is go to astro.com, click on charts and calculations, go to extended chart selection, and from there you're going to see at the very top where it says sections, the option of, it's kind of hidden, but I'll show it on YouTube if you need that tutorial. You want to change it from round to special. So these are special charts. And when you go to chart type, you're actually going to scroll down to where it says Astro Maps on the drop down. And then from there, you'll have all these options, but to see just the Astro World map in color, you're going to click the Astro Map World in color. So click on that, and then of course make sure you have the right name at the top that you want to see your astrocartography map for, and then you just click show the chart. And then you'll see your chart there, and you'll see what I'm talking about with all of these planetary lines running through it. And then if you wanted to zoom in more, you can just do that here, or you could go back to chart selection and choose North America, South America, East Asia, all of those options there. And now that you have your astrocartography chart, you can start to read it, which is where the fun part begins. So the rule of thumb here is that when you're looking for a place on your astrocartography chart that you're curious about, let's say it's a place you went to in the past or you want to move to or what have you, always look to the closest planetary line. Okay, so maybe that's a Venus line, maybe that's a Uranus line, whatever that is the line you want to pay attention to. And so there's a lot more to be said about this. Maybe you're wondering, well, what if it's sandwiched in the middle? What if it's on a cross? What if it's on the west side versus the east side? What are the little circles? There's so much to be said about this. Astrocartography is a complex subject, okay? But again, I'm going to simplify here because there are some basics that really will help you to get some insight. And if you do want to dive deeper into all the intricacies step by step, you can take my astrocartography course. It's really a good one, self-paced, and also whenever I travel, I do put that on sale. So if you're following me on Instagram, you will see when I travel from time to time, which I am in April, so later this month, you can get that discounted. But for now, you're just going to keep in mind that simple rule for astrocartography where you look to the closest planetary line. The closest planetary line, that is going to give you so much helpful information already. And so how I want you to think about these planetary lines is that when you go near that planetary line, whatever one it is. Whether, you're traveling there, you live there, you want to, you feel drawn to that place for some synchronistic reason. When you go near these lines, you activate that planet's energy and potential. You unlock potentials even within yourself. So it's not only about the external shifts and changes, although that can manifest in some really beautiful, very obvious ways, but there also is that inward resonance with that planet. It's asking you, when you go to that place, that planet is strengthened within you, and so you're given that opportunity. You're being pushed in that direction of developing that planet more. So if you've ever felt really drawn to a certain country, a certain place in the world, or you've had the great privilege of getting to travel and you felt that energetic shift of when you get there and you almost feel like there's some new energy, something that you've unlocked within yourself even, that speaks to the astrocartography. You're unlocking those planetary lines, those potentials. So all of that will be really helpful as now we look to your astrocartography chart for each of those planetary lines. So keep that in mind. And now I'm going to get into what are the meaning of all of those lines in your astrocartography chart. So I know it can look really overwhelming at first, but all you have to do to identify what planetary line it is just follow it to the end where it'll be labeled with a planetary symbol. And so that's the planet that you're dealing with there. So if it's a moon symbol, that's your moon line. If it's the circle with a dot, that's the sun. So that's your sun line. And on YouTube, I will, as I go through each of these 12 possibilities, I'll share the glyph here, the symbol. Or if you haven't already, you can also download my free astrology basics guide, and that will help you out a lot in wherever you're at in your astrology studies, but to know all the symbols for the planets. So the first planetary lines we'll look to are your sun lines. And in astrocartography, these lines of your sun, it speaks to where you'll really come alive more and where you'll discover yourself. So if you've felt like you want to find yourself, you want to do some soul searching, self-discovery, that is a great place to do it, wherever your sun lines fall. And oftentimes with sun lines, they speak a lot to this need to express yourself more freely. So that's tied in a lot with that identity piece of finding out who are you, why are you here, but bringing more of that to life, letting others see you more authentically for who you are. And oftentimes it really can give you a confidence boost, or you'll actually see these people they come to life more. Like you just feel that they're shining on these lines. So, and also I'll add that when it comes to public attention, wanting to have more eyes on you, these can be great places for that. If you're looking for that popularity almost, a sense that you're in the spotlight. If that's something you're not comfortable with, that may not be as comfortable for you, but it really is an opportunity to allow yourself to be seen. And so that's why I just find sun lines to be so beautiful. And the gift also of a sun line is it's allowing you to creatively express as well. So not only expressing yourself, but wanting to pour yourself into more of your personal interests and creativity in some way. And then next up, we'll look to your moon lines. So moon lines in astrocartography are places where you'll really feel pulled to because they feel comforting. Something about maybe the nature, the people, the customs, something about it, the way of life there, it just resonates with you at a soul deep level. So oftentimes going there, it can feel very nurturing or cozy even. There may be places where you just feel at home there. And they're also great if you want to develop more intimacy in your relationship or build closer bonds and connections, be more focused on home and family, and also healing as well as a big one. So as a personal example, I once went on a 2-week trip to the Pacific Northwest with my husband, and we rented a camper van in Washington and we drove it down the coast right on my moon line. So Washington into Oregon, California, right on my moon line. I mean, of course, just being in nature that long, hiking every day, camping each night was so healing. But I had wanted to go on that trip for so long, and finally the stars aligned and we went right when I needed it. And it really helped me to, at a deep level, confront a lot of my subconscious fears and a lot of buried emotions and unprocessed grief. A lot came up for me there that I needed to heal. I felt it at this energetic level. And so it's really beautiful, just to give you an example, but there's a reason to why we're even drawn to a certain place and the timing of that. And so it's beautiful to look at your chart, even from past places you visited, and share if you feel like below in the comments, but just to look for yourself to see what did come up for you and how is that related to your journey and what you're here to learn and discover. Okay, so next up we have Mercury lines, and I'm going to try to go through these a little snappier because we have 10 more left to get through. But with Mercury lines, they really ask you to expand your mind in some way. So they are great places to go to if you want to feel inspired, if you want to get new ideas, if you want your mind to be really active, mentally stimulating places. So great for learning, great for conversation, socializing. I wouldn't say you should go to like a silent retreat on a Mercury line unless you want a challenge. Because again, Mercury lines in astrocartography, they just keep you on your toes mentally. You want to make sure that you are learning new things, that you're being interested in different topics, or keeping an open mind, seeing things from a new perspective. So really great for learning as well, and learning new things or diverse things, kind of wanting to take in new information. And then next up we have Venus lines. So in astrocartography, Venus lines really ask you to slow down, to relax more, and to enjoy the little pleasures, the luxuries of life. So with Venus too, there's a big part of this that is connecting with your feminine energy and love, self-love, romance. So these can be places where they're great for romantic getaways, or wanting to also just love yourself again, believe in love again, and also to see your own beauty. These can be really beautiful places for that. So a lot about valuing yourself if you go to a Venus line. And then next up we have Mars lines. So Mars lines are really great for connecting with your own inner courage and asserting yourself more. So wherever you have those Mars lines in astrocartography, the plus side is that you may feel, you're connected to your masculine energy here, and there's this desire, this drive to really get things done and get things moving, and great for leadership, great for athletics as well. Mars lines are great to go to if you're looking to feel, that rush of energy, that drive to go after your desires, what it is you want. Feel more confident in that, develop that passion within you. And with Mars lines, you do have to be mindful of not being too impulsive or quick to anger and conflict. So if you already are prone to that, this line will not ease that by any means, but it will help you to pursue your goals and do so with more confidence or motivation. These lines can be really helpful for that. And even the passion piece with Mars too, and as it relates to romance as well. And then we have Jupiter lines, which really can just bring you so many blessings. Oftentimes, Jupiter lines can help you to feel more optimistic, more glass half full, look to the future, but also feel more generous. And they're considered very lucky lines, where in the sense that it really is all filtered through your chart and who you are as a person, where you're at your soul's journey. But I think a big reason why they're considered so lucky and why I see them manifest as that is because in these places you are more open. You're more open to receive. You tend to be met with more support, and you also are more generous. You're more generous towards others, not even just financially, but also just you see the best in others and yourself. So I personally live on my Jupiter line, and it really is true that it helps you to feel more connected to your highest self. And it also is supportive in thus finding more opportunities, more success, more prosperity, abundance, and also great for deepening your learning and for teaching others. So for all those reasons and more, I live on my Jupiter line here in Spain. And also my husband is Spanish, and so he is my greatest blessing. So, you know, when you learn more about astrology and put the pieces all together, it really helps you to see even more intricate, sometimes weirdly specific, beautiful things like that as well. And then we have Saturn lines, which are very different because they ask you to take life more seriously. They ask you to be more pragmatic, more realistic in some way, and require a lot of effort. But, you know, the beauty here too is you're supported in being more disciplined. You're supported in being more hardworking, more focused in some way, being seen as more of an authority and maturing more and more into yourself. So although Saturn lines tend to get a bad reputation at times, I really see with Saturn lines, they're teaching you things. When I've traveled to Saturn lines, they really do help you to see things that you've been avoiding or things that long term you want to work toward. So it can be really helpful in getting that clarity. And then with Chiron lines, they're kind of similar in that at first they can feel a bit difficult, but there can be such great gifts that come with them. So I lived on a Chiron line for 5 years in New York City, and really a lot of healing on Chiron lines, but also coming more into your healing gifts and sharing that with others. So with Chiron lines, it is about healing from wounds, from insecurities, from things that are blocking you, holding you back, and really having to face that. But then also learning to be more vulnerable, learning to embrace that and really alchemize pain into your purpose. You know, what are you here for? How can you share with others more open-heartedly? So that is Chiron. And then for Uranus lines, those are really places where you'll seek more freedom, where you may express yourself in unique ways, be more open about your quirks and what makes you unique, or discovering that more. And also places where you want to be more spontaneous. You embrace change more readily and kind of get out of your comfort zone more there. So that's Uranus lines. And Neptune lines are places where you're really tapped into your spirituality as well, especially when it comes to the sense of oneness, of wanting to connect more to God, to the universe, to whatever your beliefs are, explore that more, and also needing to let go, needing to dissolve your ego there, to just let yourself not control so much, but let things be. And Neptune lines too can really be great for feeling this sense of just disconnecting in some way, so kind of getting away from it all. Neptune lines are really great for self-compassion and also for creativity and feeling inspired that way. And then for Pluto lines, it's really about coming more into your personal power and meeting your depths. So sometimes it can bring up a lot of inner turmoil and needing to see what needs to be eliminated and stripped away from the past, or limiting beliefs or fears, so that way you can move forward, transform, transmute that old energy that's been keeping you stuck. And so with Pluto lines, it again is coming more into your power. Oftentimes it brings shifts in life direction and can really just help you to feel more empowered. And then when it comes to your North Node lines, I like to call those places of destiny, because in astrocartography, there's something very synchronistic about those North Node lines, those places that get you to discover something about yourself, to learn some important life lesson for you. There might be a person you meet who's very significant to you later on, or there might be some event or something that happens that steers you back on your soul's sacred path. So North Node lines can be so beautiful. They can kind of take you out of your comfort zone at times, but there's something that your soul will recognize in that place too. So that's an overview of those planetary lines in your astrocartography chart. And hopefully this allows you to now look at your chart without feeling so overwhelmed. So you can understand, why are you drawn to the places you are? Why did you go on vacation where you did? Or how can you use this to plan your vacations, to manifest where, if you're moving homes, how can you lean into these energies in a really positive way to help you, support you in your soul's growth and journey? So if you feel like sharing any of that below, anything you've discovered throughout this episode, would love to hear that. Of course, if you want to learn how to read astrocartography charts step by step like I do, then you can get my astrocartography course on MaxineLuthia.com, and really you learn so much, you get so many examples as you go through it, and it's just really in depth. Probably all the questions you have here, you learn there. So it's a really great self-paced course. I think you get about 5 hours of video lessons there. You get quizzes to check in along the way. I break it down into more bite-sized videos, so I make it fun. And you have a workbook too, so it's really in-depth. If you're serious about reading astrocartography charts, I really recommend you check that out. And also, I do tend to offer a discount code for this about every time I go on vacation. So if you're following me on Instagram, you'll be first to know when I do. Otherwise, go to MaxineLuthia.com to check that out. I'll put it in the show notes too for you. And if you want to, if you prefer to just have me read your chart, I can. So you can book a reading with me to get your astrocartography chart read. So I'll put all of that again on my website, MaxineLuthia.com. But thanks so much for learning with me, for listening to the end. I appreciate you. And yeah, until next time, take care. Bye.